These are looking a lot better. I was actually looking at a video from a week ago when we had a really bad rainstorm, and there's a lot of yellowing leaves at the bottom, and they were pretty short, and I can already tell just from that video and then looking at them, they're a lot taller, so they seem to be doing pretty well. These Romas that I've yet to plant or find a home for, those are getting even taller. These ones are starting to look a little bit more like a tomato plant and less like a seedling, so they're starting to shape up pretty nicely. I will want to put some straw in here. Basically the rain that we've been having has been pretty strong and it's splashing up on the stems and the leaves, and I don't want that to continue, so I'll probably have to go ahead and put some straw down. I was actually just waiting to see how our ant problem was doing. We had a few ants in here, and so we did want to possibly make sure those were all dealt with before we covered too much straw and stuff in there, and then we didn't see the activity. That pepper plant we're going to be putting in right here pretty soon. I believe this is, oh yeah, Tabasco pepper. So that thing's looking pretty nice. That started its life in our grow tent, and in the last almost week or so it's been outside. At first just during the day, and then we started leaving it out overnight, but it does look to be doing pretty well, I would say. So yeah, I think that one's ready for the soil. Here I have a borax sugar water mixture. Some recipes say to use 1.5 cups water, 1/2 cup sugar, and 1.5 tablespoons borax. I prefer a much thicker paste as it's easier to use and see where you've spread it, so I'd recommend starting with half the amount of water. You can always add more water if it's too thick, but you could easily run out of sugar if you start with too much water. You do want to be sure to find the ant trails and follow this back as close as you can to the ant hill. Once I located the suspected ant hill entrance, I dropped a circle of borax sugar water around it. That way they are forced to go through it as they come and go. Keep in mind, you may have to apply this more than once. This year seemed like a great year to try straw in our raised beds, mainly because of all the rain we've been getting. Straw as mulch will keep rain from splashing dirt up onto the tomato plant leaves. Dirt-covered leaves can block the leaves from absorbing sun and can also spread bacterial and fungal diseases. So far, we've found that straw keeps the soil moist on hot days, but it's light enough to let the soil breathe and prevents it from staying too moist for too long. My tip is if you decide to put straw in your raised beds, don't layer it too deep since slugs can make their way around the damp bottom layers. You can always add a few handfuls as needed. We're planning on transplanting that pepper plant right here, and then we're going to go ahead and get these zucchini plants split up, and the plan is to use these 4 bins for them. And then these are probably pretty root bound now, but I want to go ahead and try to get at least 2 of those into these smaller pots just to give them a little bit more space until we can get more of these fabric pots. These actually, this container right here, these 2 came out of this container. So because they didn't have probably the nutrients or the space, they've been just kind of stuck in limbo here. So I want to get them growing a little bit healthier because we do love our aromas. We like making sauces, sandwiches, all those sort of things. So let's get these transplanted. One thing we would do differently is probably use a different potting soil or mix it with some other things. This potting soil seems to be hydrophobic at times where it doesn't absorb the water correctly. And then along with these fabric pots are nice, but sometimes it does seem, especially if they're sitting on a wet ground, it doesn't really drain very well. So that is something that we would probably change. when we do this next year. There's a little bit of mycos on this. This introduces a fungi that helps the roots grow. Root growth stimulator. Yeah, I don't even think I'll have to water this. Honestly, this dirt is still so moist. I haven't had to water these at all this year. We've had so much rain. I'm sure once the heat of summer picks up, we'll have to do some watering, but for now, it's been pretty easy. Yeah, this is 3 zucchini plants in a tiny little pot. So yeah, they probably should have been transplanted a bit ago, but I don't think we're in too bad a shape. I'll go ahead and split these up and loosen up the roots. Put the mycos on there and water it in. Last minute decision. So I've got 3 zucchinis in. This one I couldn't split, so I just left them together. But instead of using this last pot for the zucchini, I've got a couple of blank spots over here where my beans, some of them didn't germinate. So I think I'm gonna plant one of the zucchinis over here. Get more of the better soil that are in these garden beds instead of using the potting soil, just straight potting soil. So I'll go ahead and dig a hole for this, put that zucchini right there in the middle, and it's gonna free up one of these containers then for another Roma tomato. So we're gonna get that set up here. So we got 8 things planted today. And we have 1 leftover Roma, which I'm not sure what we're gonna do with. We might just have to say gonzo for it. This one was crooked from the very beginning, so we might just let the nature have that one. Yeah, I'm gonna water these in, clean up the rest of my tools, and we should be good for the night. Thanks for watching.